Recently, a group of youths in the northern part of the country gave an ultimatum to the Igbos to vacate the territory on or before the 1st of October due to the ongoing agitation for secession in the southeast of Nigeria.
But this Igbo quit notice has continued to generate reactions from different ethnicities and regions in Nigeria. And in reaction to it, a coalition of Niger Delta militants also asked northerners living in the Delta area to vacate.
Although acting President Yemi Osinbajo has warned against hate speeches and threats from any part of the country, the militant groups have lamented that none of the issuers of the Igbo quit notice have been arrested.
And they are calling for the immediate relocation of the NNPC headquarters to the Niger Delta and the return of oil blocks owned by northerners to the Niger Delta people. While the Department of State Services says it will arrest to prosecute perpetrators of the hate speeches, the Ijaw Youth Council worldwide have accused security agencies of double standard in their handling of the quit notice.
Now, the Youth Council says the area youth leaders should be made to account for their actions to avoid unnecessary loss of lives and property.
With us in the studio is the Secretary General of the Ijaw Youth Council, Alfred Kamepado. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, Alfred.
Thank you.
Now, the Niger Delta militants are saying all this in solidarity with the Igbos, but they laid down demands. Are they going to benefit the Igbos in any way?
Basically, we need to get something clear. Back over there in the north, when they use words like Igbo, over here in the south, there's no difference between we from the Niger Delta and the southeastern typical Igbo that you may want to describe.
Why is that?
So it's kind of a blanket statement here there in the north.
Okay.
So if they say Igbos quit the north, they are talking about everybody quitting the north. So
are you not jumping the gun there, deciding for them that, okay, they are putting all of you in one basket?
That's, we're not jumping in the gun, that's what it is. But generally, whether that's what it is or that's what, whether that's what it is or if it is what it has been, generally it's something that we all roundly condemn.
No, so in this, because you will make your point. I just want us to get these things clear.
Okay.
So when IPOB and others, when they talk about Biafra, and the Niger Delta said, no, we are not part of Biafra.
Obviously, we are not Biafra.
Okay, when the quit notice is issued based on agitation for Biafra. So how does it concern the Niger Deltans?
No, like I rightly told you, okay? First of all, let me make it abundantly clear that we are not Biafrans. Okay. We are from the Niger Delta, particularly we are Ijaws specifically. But when this quit notice kind of blanket speech come in the north, you need to understand that it's got a multiplier effect on every person that is not from the north that resides there. So you don't take it from just the literally meaning of Igbos. It means every other person that probably is not from the north. Probably every other person that could be described as Yamiri. Sorry for that word, you understand? So we need to take note of all of that. So that is why, whether it is for the Igbos, it's just like the popular saying, he who sins with you can also sin against you. But the point is, whether it is targeted at the Igbos, or it is targeted at everybody that is termed as Igbos, or it is targeted at Igbos plus every other person, or only Igbos. It's something that we all roundly condemn. It's a shame that it's totally reckless, that it's not acceptable. And it's not something we will want to promote, like the Vice President has rightly said.
So why is the militants now saying that come rain, according to the statements used now, come rain, come shine, that they would declare the independence of the Niger Delta region on October 1st. If you totally support that, there is need for people to stop making hate speeches, meaning that you support one Nigeria. So why are they saying that they would declare independence on October 1st?
Well, as a matter of fact, to start with, I don't know what militant and which militant said that. And secondly, if any militant said that, I'm not spokesman for any of the militant camps, and I will not align myself with. I will only align myself with our ideals and our philosophies as a Ijaw Youth Council. As a Ijaw Youth Council, we believe that a one Nigeria will be better for all of us. But however, we also agree that there is need for us to tickle the conversations that makes us a better nation. whether you call it true federalism, whether you talk about going back to the Confab report or any of the related reports, however you may want to style the nomenclature of the conversation, the truth is that there is need for us to review the conversation of this country in terms of its structure. When I talk about its structure, I'm talking about in terms of its structure, in terms of its fiscal structure, its political structure, its socio-political structure, and every other structure that is related. Over there in the Niger Delta, of course, we are agitated about so many things, and rightly so. In your intro, you talked about the oil companies and everything. Let me humbly say that those things you call oil blocks, and those areas you go to explore your oils and whatever you call, however you want to describe, are actually ancestral properties of a particular people. Well, we need to be in one Nigeria, but we need to take note of all of these things and the multiplier effect on our people. Our people are suffering from environmental degradations, which we are agitated about. Our economy is not developed over there in the Niger Delta. And
nowhere in the country. Nowhere in the country. Everyone has.
I speak for the Niger Delta now by virtue of my position. But what I'm trying to abundantly make is that we need to review a whole lot of this. Let me give you an example. California is described as one of the most prosperous places in the world, and that's just a state in the United States. So the underdevelopment of the Niger Delta, deliberately or unconsciously or unknowingly, however you may put it, has a direct underdevelopment effect on this whole country. So we need to look at a whole lot of that. And you need to also know, when you talk about the Niger Delta, what comes into your mind is the security challenges. But the federal government needs to also now understand that going beyond what you know as security challenges and sending soldiers down to the Niger Delta is not the way to go. We need to begin to think of how we can economically prosper the Niger Delta, because statistics has also shown that poverty breeds insecurity too.
All right.
So when you cause this kind of massive industrial development in the Niger Delta, it will also help to curb the security, save our army, save our region, save our environment. And,
ultimately
create more, ultimately it goes. So
yeah,
that's a better way of going.
Let me quickly ask you. So
yeah.
Is the Ijaw Youth Council now making efforts, or has made efforts in the past, to let all the militant groups that have identified themselves as one body to say that they want independence, to make efforts to tell them that this is not the way to go? The way to go is, let's sit down first of all, chart a new course for the Niger Delta, and present a one unified, peaceful front to the federal government of Nigeria for peace to reign, and then call for restructuring instead of the way they are going.
Like I told you, we are not them, and I don't even know who you're talking about.
The
Ijaw Youth Council, yeah, we're making efforts. Part of the effort is what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that we need a more united Nigeria, but we need to keep the Nigerian conversation on the deck again and see how it properly suits us, you understand? Yes, we are agitated. Yes, we are marginalized. Yes, we are explored and exploited. Yes, we feel bad, but a more united Nigeria, with the conversation being on board and everybody being respected, and every region and every part of this country being promoted to produce or to contribute to the national pulse. All of those issues we'll look at. Time will not permit me to go into the details of all of these things. So that is what we are saying. And secondly, recently you may have heard the Vice President say that oil multinationals should move down to the Niger Delta. Brilliant, that's a perfect one. But some people who know less or almost nothing about the Niger Delta will want to describe us as being insecure. That's totally not true. That's misrepresentation of our Niger Delta. Coming back to your question, what are we doing as a Ijaw Youth Council and youths? First of all, we have made the environment peaceful. Yes, there might be pockets of this and that everywhere, just like it is everywhere. After all, recently, somebody, I don't want to call the name, was arrested here in Lagos, and they say he's a kingpin of something. It was not in the Niger Delta. Okay, so these things, what happens in the Niger Delta happens everywhere. So efforts should not be made at deliberately demarketing us. So oil companies can come. I can speak to you authoritatively on behalf of the youths and on behalf of whoever you may choose, or rightly so to call a militant, that we are ready to work with you to promote this country, to promote the economy of that region that will subsequently promote the economy of the state. And
all right.
The environment is not...
I like that resolution, because if all the different groups and organizations, if all of them are taking that posture, that stand at this position, we are ready to. wouldn't have been talking about this in the first instance. But let's come to some of the items that were mentioned in the issue we're talking about here now. One of them is the relocation, also the reallocation of oil blocks.
Okay.
Let us go into the real issue here now, if we have to put it bare. The reallocation of oil blocks, when it is done, and then the Niger Deltans now own the block. Okay, I own this block. How more prosperous would the Niger Deltans be in true terms when it comes to the environment, when it comes to the industries, when it comes to all the things, social amenities that you request?
Of course, definitely. When the reallocation of the oil...
Because it's going to be owned by the same one kind of person. I'm just trying to take it bit by bit.
No, summarily, what we are saying with respect to the reallocation of whatever oil facility, oil block, marginal field, or modular refinery, or whatever you would say, what we are agitating as Nigerians first, as Niger Deltans first, and as Nigerians in the whole, is that Niger Deltans should be given a fair share to operate in their environment, the resources that have come from their environment. Now, how that comes to prosper the whole of the Niger Delta is a different question. It's a different question that I will answer also now. It means that it will also help to promote those who are in such businesses around the environment. I'm not in that kind of business, okay? Those who are in such, we have young Niger Deltans who are in such oil business who may have been edged out consequent upon the politics at the so-called top, okay? It will help to put their feet down. It will help to make them raise their headquarters even in the Niger Delta and pay taxes to the government in the Niger Delta, thereby raising the IGR. So coming back to the nitty-gritty of that question is that, first of all, with due respect, these so-called oil blocks or oil facilities, like it was in the days of cocoa and others, are our properties. They are domiciled in our area. People are mining lead, gold, and other things in the north. Nobody raises eyebrow about that. Yeah, but let me not go into...
But we understand.
Okay,
but certainly, we understand, sorry, we understand the laws. When it comes to the laws, oil and all of that automatically fall under the exclusive list, which means that it is the property of the federal government.
So what you're saying that is good for the oil to fall in their
It's not about, I'm talking about the status quo right now. It's not about
what we are saying and what we are praying and what we are lobbying, what we are appealing and agitating for is that within the framework of that law, a fair share of Niger Deltans, Ijaw people, and all other Niger Deltans should be given a fair share to operate in that industry. Inclusiveness. As a matter of fact, the federal government should encourage them because we live there. We know that place. If I'm operating in my community, nobody may come and pick me up. I know the environment better. I'll give more scholarships there. So it will help to secure the environment and prosper this economy even more.
All right. Well, don't you think it could be a little complicated? Why I ask is, someone from the region was president and nothing changed. People were still agitating for this. So why now that it's becoming louder? Your person was there and he couldn't even achieve it.
Now, let me make something clear. Our person was there. He was president of Nigeria. And like you rightly said, he had followed the laws. Now, his presence there and his reign there is a metaphor for how generous we have become. That even while we were there, we did not just flout the laws and appropriate everything to ourselves, and that we are still following due process. So in that same calm manner, the way we were generous to Nigerians, we are also asking Nigerians, and rightly so, that it's also good that they are generous to all of us, okay? Yes, good luck was there. Okay, that's the person you're talking about. Okay, good. It's a metaphor for how decent we can be, how not aggressive as the media has portrayed us, that we are not like that.
How non-confrontational.
How non-confrontational.
That's from him. That's Nigerians would say that's just an exception because the militants actually was a confrontational platform.
Let me tell you something. This is now the problem. Okay. Now you've just said it's an exception.
No, I'm saying in the minds of people who.
Oh well, you are a reporter. Probably that's also, but that's also wrong. That's typical of us. We are very hospitable people.
Okay.
If there is any area that oil companies should operate in this country, in this region of Africa, it's the Niger Delta, because we are naturally hospitable people. Like I rightly told you, the activities of militancy and all that is blown out of proportion. Like I just asked you, recently, a kingpin was arrested. Where was it arrested? It's here in Lagos, not in the Niger Delta. And what that kingpin did here in Lagos, it wouldn't have been done.
He's still a Nigerian. He's a Nigerian. So, like
so you just realize it's a Nigerian.
No, that's what we're saying.
That's what I'm saying too.
So you are Nigerians as well. So what will you say about the section of those in the Niger Delta saying this? Because it's not just one militant group that said it. It's a group of militant groups in the region saying that they want and that they are not going to be on the defensive this time around if they do not listen to them, that they will go on all fronts to attack.
Well, like I rightly said, like I rightly said, I don't know which militant and what militant group, and I'm not their spokesman. But you need to also realize that I am Secretary General of the Ijaw Youth Council, the flagship organization of all Niger Delta, all Ijaw youths in the Niger Delta.
So are you saying it's false? The story is
I
false?
have not come here to debunk it, but I am only telling you that our environment is safe and we have kept it calm, and we are receptive to everybody that is coming there to operate, and that our environment is not as volatile as it is deliberately demarketed, especially by the Western media.
All right, Alfred, we don't have all the time, but let me ask you this last question before we go. We remember in the early independence and all of that, our founding fathers were all in their 20s and 30s. They were the youths who led this country, you know, brought projection and all of that. We have not, amongst all of this, youths in the north, youths in the south, youths in the east, we've not seen any effort of, let's say, Niger Delta, like your organization, extending an invitation to meet with Arewa youths, sit down and let us talk as new generation Nigerians.
From different regions coming together.
IPOB, as led by Nnamdi Kanu, extending, wanting to sit down and talk with Arewa Consultative, as the case may be. We've not seen that kind of new generation of thinkers. What do you think from that? Is it a failure of the new generation or something?
Well, let me not speak for other groups, but particularly for the Ijaw Youth Council, especially the one that is led by us, which is fresh. We are doing that and we are reaching out. Recently, kudos to the Vice President. He invited us for like ethnic nationalities youth presidents meeting, which we had in the Hilton, and all of us are already conversing. Probably the media is underreporting that aspect.
No, but that's not it. As far as it happens, we'll certainly know. But we are not even talking about. We're not even talking about meeting with the president this time around. We're talking about like Ijaw National, Ijaw Youth Council meeting with Arewa Consultative Forum.
We are doing that. We are doing that. We are doing that. I can rightly say that we are doing that.
On the day you're meeting, let us know.
Oh, I will.
And
you will come, you won't charge me, would you?
You don't have to. I don't have to.
Okay,
It's something we have to promote. It's national integration.
Oh, brilliant.
All right. Alfred Kemepadu, Secretary General, Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide, thank you for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, viewers.
Thank you.